Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional traveler. Today I'm going to do a quick review on the DJI Osmo Pocket. Is this one of the coolest little cameras ever on the market? Well, let's find out. The DJI Osmo Pocket, or the DJI Osmo Pocket, that's how you say it, one of the coolest gimbal cameras on the market. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. But before I do that, if you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button right below, that'd help me bring this information to you. If you haven't seen this, thank you very much. If you haven't seen this camera on the market, if you haven't seen people talking about it on YouTube, and is it the GoPro 7 killer and all this, I'm not exactly sure. There have been lots of videos, I've watched them, I've learned a little bit about this camera from them, and I have to say, this is a pretty sweet little device. Now, watch the head, it's like this little Terminator thing, or maybe I double click it to recenter and triple click it to turn it around for selfie mode, or 1, 2, 3, triple click it to flip around. But this thing is really cool. Now, as you can see, or here, I'm in Salt Lake Airport. You can see way over there. Yep. I'm filming in the airport again because that's what I seem to do. And that's where I always seem to end up on these things. But I've been using this camera to do some filming in the airport, to do some hyperlapses where I walk through fast, to do some slow motion action or real life action, to do a little short video on showing what the Salt Lake Airport is like. Now, this place is really huge. It has a bunch of concourses, there's lots of stuff. People can get lost in stress, so all I'm gonna do is I've shot all the footage on this camera in 4K at 30p. Now, that's pretty cool, but the ability to shoot 4K video at 60p is really incredible. In fact, I will do that. See if I can get that going. Level it out, center. I'm still learning how to use the camera. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna go video 4K, and this thing goes all the way up to 60p. Now, let me tell you, I have quite a few cameras, including the camera I'm filming this on right now. And the camera I'm filming this on right now is HD. Does a perfectly good job. To get a 4K 60p camera, there aren't a lot of cameras on the market, and this camera is priced really cheaply for its capability. Now, I'm going to put a link to Amazon below. You can click it and check it out and see what the current price is. I don't like to quote because the price always changes on these things, but I have never had a camera at this price point even close to 4K at 60p. In fact, I'm looking at some semi-professional or professional camcorders that can't even do that, and they're like $3,000 or $4,000. So this thing's pretty slick. It films way up there, and it has a tiny touch screen. It's hard for me to see, but you can see how it swipes, and you swipe up and down and all this sort of thing. Now, the touch screen's ridiculously tiny, but after using this for a full day filming in the Salt Lake Airport, I have to say I'm impressed. It is done very well. I used the touch screen. It took me a while to get used to it. Now, I felt embarrassed about my unboxing video because I thought I'd watched the videos. I thought I'd learned everything about what I needed about the camera. I turned this thing on and it was frustrating. It really irked me to have to, you had to plug this thing into your phone and get the app going and hook it up. It's a little bit of a production, so I have to warn you now, if you don't have a smartphone, you cannot use this camera because you have to activate it. Why you have to activate it, I don't know. It's a silly thing. So apart from I think it was like 13 minutes of me figuring out how to get through the stupid app to get it activated, I was ready to throw in the towel, but I thought, hang on, Aaron, people get through this, you can get through this too. And once I did, I realized, oh, I'm just gonna click around and do it. This camera requires learning. It is not, you pick up your Android, you pick up your iPhone or Windows or Pixel or whatever, you start shooting, you can get rocking pretty quick with the phone. This thing takes time to learn. It is not that easy for a couple reasons. One, The interface is, well, microscopic. You swipe up, left, right, down, click here, click there. It comes with a wireless pod, of course a very inconvenient USB-C cable that goes to USB-A. I mean, all this craziness. Now, you're wondering why I'm suffering so. Well, a couple reasons. This camera is so small, when I hold it in my hand, you only see this tiny little head sticking up. And so when I walk around this airport to do my filming, I'm just literally holding it here. And the best part is no one pays attention to me. Now, of course you might be thinking, oh, you're filming where you shouldn't be. No, 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 I'm following all the rules of the airport. Don't be silly. But the nice thing about this, even compared to the iPhone, when you walk it around, people can always tell you're filming. I'm just doing stuff on YouTube, nothing special. And it's really nice because it's completely inobtrusive. This thing is so small. Let me put it in my top pocket. It's gone. It literally disappears. And this is actually a slightly smaller pocket. This camera actually disappears into my pocket. It's really pretty slick. Oops, I'm kind of freaking out the gimbal here. There we go. And don't throw this in your pocket when it's on. It kind of freaks it out. So one of the things about this camera now too is it has Pro mode. And Pro mode allows you to control the exposure, the gain. Here, let me flip that back. It's got auto control. I'll do a more comprehensive review, just like I still need to do a review on my RX 100, but the screen on there is really small and you think, oh, that's pretty irritating, but you can play back video, you can do everything. It carries a micro SD chip on the side. It has a USB-C port on the bottom, which is really tragic. This camera would totally sing if they would have put the USB port on the side and put a quarter 20 in the bottom, because now in order to do that you either have to get a couple different frames. I'll put links to those below, or the wireless pod, and then the wireless pod doesn't even have the quarter 20. You have to buy a different mount for that. So getting this thing to, or this camera, to where you can get it to where it will stand up relatively safely and not fall over is a bit of a challenge, okay? So the thing about it is, the phone paired with this, you have to hook it up and it's kind of awkward. There's some charging issues if you leave the lightning connector on there. However, if you get the DJI app going, say, let me get it hooked to the camera here. I'm going to flip the camera around, and now hopefully I'm going to be able to show you on a big screen, walking around, and you can see the camera floating and it's looking at me, and I'm wiggling my hands, as you can see. This is really cool. Now, is it as good as the GoPro 7 Hero Black at stability? Arguably not, okay? Because the GoPro has almost mystical magic where, boy, you walking around and shaking, and it's really incredibly stable. But it only points one direction. The moment you want to look left or look right or do anything tilting up and down, it's going to have, I'm a holding the camera sort of look. I'm competing with the airport announcement. But this camera, if I wanted to look right, it slowly swings around, and look left, look up, look down, it sweeps. Now it has a fast follow mode and a slow follow mode and a bunch of other features. Now this is pretty slick, and so I mean you have almost all the control in here, but there are a few controls in here you're going to need that aren't in the phone that I've found. Now you might find a couple of clowns online. Let me deactivate the Wi-Fi. You just unplug it. It's pretty slick. You might find a couple clowns on the web saying, this is not a professional gimbal head, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's crapola, people, because show me your gimbal mounted camera that can shoot 4K 60p in a handheld size that fits in your pocket. It doesn't exist. This is the only thing out there. Now, no, I'm not supported or sponsored by DJI. I don't get free stuff or anything for these videos. But I'm telling you, all these pros on the market, they got their their Panasonic GH5 or 7 or whatever it is with their crazy gimbal mount. And it's huge. It's a major production and thousands of dollars. Thousands. Click on the link and see how cheap this gimbal is. Now, does it compete with other cameras in dynamic range and noise performance and all this other stuff? No. But when I checked out the 4K 60 data rate, it films in 100 megabits a second. That's freaking crazy. Now, low light performance, it's noisy. Okay, this is not a low light performance camera, but look how small it is, all right? It's ridiculously small, okay? So just note, when you do the triple click Terminator head turn and triple click, I'm still learning that, turn around, that's all it needs. You have the power button, you have the record button, you click once, and it'll turn it from photo to video, double click, it will recenter the gimbal, and you triple click, and it'll do the R2-D2 Terminator thing. It's pretty cool. So just note that it is a bit of a challenge to learn this camera. I'm gonna have to do multiple videos on it in addition to other cameras, but so far, after I learned a little bit about it at home, it took me a better part of a day to get vaguely competent, but the ability to do hyperlapse and motion time lapse. I mean, I used to build jigs where I put my SLR in there and they'd pan around, and oh my gosh, it was a real pain. This thing, I use the iPhone app. I tell it where to start, where to go, how long to get there. I can get a time lapse setup on this camera just quickly in about 45 seconds. I want you to see how expensive it is to get another camera that's all professional with a gimbal head to do a pan from A to B, take this many shots in this many seconds. It doesn't exist on the market, and that's right. The GoPro can't do that either. You cannot set up the GoPro to time lapse here, there, swing around, or do whatever. It doesn't exist. This is the only camera on the market that does this, and it is so ridiculously small. It comes with a little holder and all this. Let me pull that out real quick. Hopefully I can find out without dumping all my junk, but it's really pretty incredible. So are you getting the point here that if you do a lot of filming and you want the option of getting out and around, I gotta say, I'm gonna travel with this thing all the time. So press, hold, click, the head turns. I put it in its little carrying case. Voila, it's closed, it's protected, the head isn't gonna get damaged. I can still charge it in the USB-C port. Comes with a classic handy dandy leash. The only thing it doesn't do is slice bread. So is it the ultimate end all be all, this is my vlogging camera? No, of course not. If you really think that, well, yeah, you got something coming to you. I mean, you could totally vlog on your phone, but the video is bouncy, the stabilization, at best. GoPro, pretty cool, but everybody sees you got a GoPro camera, people always talk to you. This thing, nobody knows what it is. You can go film, people look, but they don't know what it is, and then they look away. It's so nice to do inobtrusive filming when you're traveling. Because I've had my big camera I'm filming with now, my phone. People are waving, oh my gosh, what a pain. So for travelers, this thing is sweet because not that you're filming in places you shouldn't be filming, never do that. But man, this camera is just blowing me away at the ability for me to film and film without a problem and do it pretty stable. I'm still learning about it. There are tons and tons of features on here. But I have to say, for a little camera that's inexpensive, that gives you gimbal control and it doesn't bring attention to you, even with a gimbal on your iPhone, people are, ooh, what's that? Oh, pain in the butt. This thing, you put it in your hand, people just see this little stick. They don't know what it is, they ignore you. That's the best part, when you don't want to bring attention to yourself and you're trying to film some famous location and you know people get in your face and ooh, what's that? Can I talk about it? No. So anyway, the DJI Osmo Pocket gimbal, I'll put a couple clips and videos on it and you'll see the action in here in this video that I've been blabbing about, but check out the links below. Very cool camera for the price. I've been initially frustrated. Know that there's going to be a couple days of hardcore education to get competent with this thing, but it totally rocks. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional traveler, and definitely liking my DJI Osmo Pocket. Please like, comment, and subscribe on my channel. I'd appreciate your support by hitting the subscribe, and also please support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.